Stories of the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, revised translation of the Urdu book Hikayat-e-Sahaba by Shaykh al-Hadith Maulana Muhammad Zakariya Kandhlawi rahimahullah, translated by Abdul Rashid Arshad.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Author's foreword. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallimu ala rasulihil kareem wa alihi wa sahbihi wa atba'ihi al-humati lid-din al-qawim. We glorify Allah and ask blessings and salutations of peace for the noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and those who follow him in upholding the cause of the right religion. It was in the year 1353 AH that an eminent sheikh, who is my patron and for whom I have every respect, enjoined me to compile a book containing stories of the companions of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with special reference to the faith and practices of the women and children of his time. The main idea underlying this behest was that Muslim mothers, while going to bed at night, instead of telling myths and fables to their children, may narrate to them such real and true tales of the golden age of Islam that would create in them an Islamic spirit of love and esteem for Sahaba, and thereby improve their iman. And the proposed book may, thus, be a substitute for the current story books. It became essential for me to comply with the desire of the Sheikh, for, besides being under moral debt and obligation to him for his immense beneficence, I consider the goodwill of such godly people to be the source of success in this world and the hereafter. I knew my shortcomings and difficulties, and therefore had been postponing the execution of this work for 4 years, when in Safar 1357 AH, it so happened that I was advised by the doctors to suspend my regular duty of teaching for some time. I decided to utilize this period of rest for complying with the long-standing desire of the Sheikh, with the belief that even if my attempt did not come up to his expectation, it would anyhow be a pleasant engagement for me and one likely to bring me spiritual blessings in addition. It is an admitted fact that the stories of the godly people deserve to be studied rather deeply in order to derive proper benefit from them. This is more important in the case of the Sahaba, who were chosen by Allah for the company of His beloved and our dear Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Their stories not only serve as a beacon of faith and practice, but also cause Allah's blessings and mercy to descend on the readers. Junaid Baghdadi rahmatullah alayh, a head of the Sufis, once said, "Stories of the pious and godly are Allah's special devices, which encourage the hearts of those who strive in His path." Somebody inquired of Junaid rahmatullah alayh if he could cite something in support of his statement. He replied, "Yes, Allah has said in His book, وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ مَا نُثَبِّتُ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ وَجَاءَكَ فِي هَذِهِ الْحَقُّ وَمَوْعِظَةٌ وَذِكْرَى لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ." The translation of which is, "And all that we relate unto thee of the stories of the messengers is in order that thereby we may make the heart firm. And herein hath come unto thee the truth, and an exhortation and a reminder for believers." Surah 11 verse 120. One cannot lay too much stress on the point that whether these be the sayings of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the stories of other God-fearing people, or the books on Islamic practices, or the epistles and written discourses of the saints, it is not enough to go through them once only, but they have to be studied over and over again in order to derive proper benefit from them. Abu Sulaiman Darani, rahmatullah alayh, a famous saint, writes, I attended a discourse by a sheikh at his residence. It had some effect on me, but only till the time that I rose from the meeting. I went to his audience for the second time to listen to his discourse, and this time the effect remained with me till I reached my home. When I visited him for the third time, the effect of his discourse stayed with me even after reaching home. Then I broke the shackles that had kept me away from Allah and set out on His path to seek His pleasure. Such is the case with religious books. A cursory reading of these seldom produces the desired effect, and a frequent and thorough study thereof is therefore necessary. For the convenience of the readers and to interest them, I have divided this book into the following 12 chapters, together with an epilogue. Chapter 1. Steadfastness in the face of hardships. 2. Fear of Allah. 3. Abstinence and contentment. 4. Piety and scrupulousness. 5. Devotion to Salah. 6. Sympathy and self-sacrifice and spending in the path of Allah. 7. Valor and heroism. 8. Zeal for knowledge. 9. Ready compliance with the Prophet's wishes, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 10. The woman's love of faith and their courage. 11. The children's devotion to Islam. And finally, chapter 12, love and devotion for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the epilogue, Sahaba's virtues and privileges.